Hi guys! So now we're going to talk about language and power. In the video I asked you to watch, it was clear that the blind man had no power. Why not? Because he had no access to written language. Or maybe he did, because there was a sign that he wrote, but his words did not evoke the intended reaction from the passersby. The one who had the power was the girl, because she was able to use language to help the blind man get what he needed. Now we can go even deeper into this and ask, why did the girl have access to language? Maybe because she had access to education. Maybe she was born fortunate and her family had money. Maybe because she can see. Because of all these things most people who are fortunate, educated, and can see take for granted, she has access to language, and therefore she has access to power. What does this all mean? Those who have access to language also have access to power. So, what does language do? How does language do this? One, you can use it to get people to align their ideas with yours. And that's exactly what the girl did. She appealed to the emotions of the passersby using a narrative, persuading them to give money to the blind man. Now, this is an example of using language and its power for good. But what happens when you read a news article exonerating a former dictator, murderer, and killer? You can persuade people up front, explicitly, or you can do it sneakily or implicitly. Let me give you an example. I once came across an article about Imelda Marcos and her fabulous style during the 70s. And it was actually on a website of a publishing company that I used to work for. And I worked for many years for them. So I immediately got in touch with one of the head editors in the publishing company, and I said, this is dangerous because talking about Imelda Marcos in the fashionable sense makes us forget the atrocities that she did. And she will be revered as a fashion icon instead. So, in this sense, what you exclude from language, what you choose not to say, is also a powerful tool. Okay, another way language can implicitly persuade people about something is actually to exclude or include them in certain situations or using certain words. For example, calling ourselves Athenians excludes everyone else who isn't an Athenian. But it also includes other Athenians, giving us a sense of community. I'm not saying this is good or bad, but it has this effect. And this is something we Athenians need to be aware of. In this sense, language also affects how we think of ourselves. Language can shape our identity. This is why it's so important to listen to the voice in your head. Mine, sometimes the voice in my head, sometimes scolds me when I do something wrong. But on the flip side, it also tells me to calm down. And sometimes, like when I was taking my comprehensive exams, it was telling me I could do it, just keep going, just keep going, you're almost there. So I've actually had to fix how I talk to myself throughout the years because I have learned how powerful language is. And now that you and I are armed with this knowledge that language is power and language has power, and those who have access to it actually can hold power, we need to be aware of how it can manipulate us. But even better, we can use it for good, to make change and to fix the world.